Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Julie's Audio Show, and yes, yet another episode on Life Moments. My name is Juliet. I'm hoping that you have already subscribed, and if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe and click on the notification button so that you can be able to get every video that comes through. Today on this episode of Life Moments, I have a gentleman who has tried all his level best, who has fought all odds to make sure that the best comes out of him. And he is a name that does not need to be introduced. Everyone in different households know him, especially during the Soroti City East by-elections. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also powered by Soroti Hotel. By the way, the beautiful garden that you see is in Soroti Hotel. Accommodations, drinks, and everything. You can pop into Soroti Hotel. Help me welcome Pascal Amuriat on the show.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for this beautiful invitation. It's such an important moment for us to be able to share stories about our lives, but also about the things that we go through that sometimes are not out there in the public. Like you said, my name is Pascal Amuriat. I participated in the Soroti City East by-election. I was the flag bearer for Uganda People's Congress and UPC, and we did our best. I'm a politician, but I'm also an author. I have authored books, especially for Atekirna Iteso. That includes Awara Gashan Iteso, that is the Proverbs. I've also authored a book called Asapana Iteso. I've worked on Kisisiawate, so for the very basic for beginners. Yes. And then I'm also working on a book project, but it's largely, this one will be a bit broad-based, but it's looking at about the social culture behavior of the people of Teso. And once it is ready, we will be able to invite a few people to say, let's launch it and see what the next steps could be. Future generation to know what happened, we must be able to tell our own stories. And so we are telling our stories through those books, so that generations to come, they are able to read and see what happened, and maybe do it for their study, but try to see the history. The secret of the future is in the history.
Yeah, that is very true. So how was Pascal Amuriat as a child growing up?
Wow, I have very crooked growing up. Why I say it's crooked, in my early life I should have died.
Sorry.
First of all, I was born as a premature child, 6 months.
6 months?
So you can imagine the challenges which come with being born a premature child. And at that time, the facilities in Soroti, because I was born in Soroti Hospital.
Yes.
The facilities then, so some people had called me Omirio because they had to bundle a lot of small little blankets
to keep you warm.
To keep me warm, and because these facilities were not there for so many reasons, I should have died. I had some bit of illness as a child, so I really didn't enjoy my childhood because there were those illness issues because of partly that, but also there came insurgency there somehow in the village arena.
Yes.
And during that time, I also had a major scuffle where a cow carried me as a child on their horns and threw about 3 times. 3 times. But by the mercy of God, I'm alive right now. So why we share these stories, so that people know I should have. That's what I'm saying. I should have
died. Yes.
I should have died.
At what age did that cow do that?
I can't even.
Were you just told, or
I was told? That means I was less than 5.
5 years.
Because if I can't recollect,
you cannot recall.
It was less than. I was just told about that. So that should have already put me into oblivion. I shouldn't be here.
That's true.
But the rest of the life, I can begin to recollect my life shortly thereafter, from about, I can say, primary 1. It's where I can begin to sort of recollect my child after that long illness. So it took a while to put the body together. But I started through the very basic schools that everybody goes through. I think I had about 4 primary schools. And when my late father was arrested during this insurgency of UPA, is when now I somehow went to Kampala for 3 to 4 years before he passed on. So growing up as a child, I didn't have this life which was I didn't have this very straight life.
Peaceful life.
Very peaceful, largely because, of course, being a child and you lose a parent.
You lost your father at
Yes,
what age?
I think I'm about 8 years.
Still young.
Yeah, so that alone in itself took about 10-15 years to overcome. But also then those that understand that kind of growing up is, so you keep moving from place to place to be able to. So it was a bit crooked. I struggled through primary, Madera boys, a lot of illness and a bit of a week to your neighbor. I had already fallen sick. So I had terrible sickness, so I came back. And maybe largely people said you should have failed the exam. So turning point in P7.
Did you perform well? Despite that?
Yes, I got a first grade.
Wow.
But I didn't get what I wanted.
I know.
Yeah, but at least I got 11. They call them, is it points or grades?
Aggregates.
Aggregates,
Yes,
so to say.
those aggregates.
Senior 4, yes, another challenge. I became a bit stubborn as a youngster.
As a youngster, now you're growing up and becoming stubborn.
I became a little youngster and I was a little bit stubborn. And I recall there was a strike in Teso College.
Okay.
And for the very first time, names were being read on Uganda radio, the UBC radio.
Yeah, UBC radio.
And they were reading names. Because hardly then there were a few radios. So they were reading names and my name was on top as a strike ringleader in a senior 4. And so many people didn't believe because I was a little boy.
Exactly.
But I could influence certain things.
You were pushing from behind.
No, I was actually
the ringleader.
I don't want to say I was the ringleader, but I participated in the process which brought about the strike. But as a little, if you saw me, then you couldn't believe that I could do it. So already that showed you that there was a journey of a fight against human rights abuse.
Yeah.
And this I could see that from that time from senior 4. So I did my exams from home, so I could ride a bicycle to Teso College. I remember one time, if I recollect, on my way to Teso College, the bicycle broke down in Camp Swahili here, and it was about 30 minutes.
Where were you staying by then?
I was staying at home here at Ajip.
Yeah.
Before then, when I got that challenge is when I shifted now to Amukaroto so that I could walk.
Just near now.
But if I remember, it was about 40 minutes left. So the school van which had come to pick papers had crossed to go to school.
UNEB.
Rio UNEB. And my bicycle was down.
Oh no.
Now those days there were no Bajads. We had bicycle boarders. I didn't even have the money. That's why I had borrowed the bicycle. So if I remember, I had to leave my bicycle in Camp Swahili. So I got a man who was riding himself to Amuriat. I told him.
On a motorbike?
No, a bicycle.
Bicycle at the same time.
So I told him my situation. The one said I'm sick. So that one left. The second one I talked to him. I was a bit aggressive. I talked to him, then he said, okay, what you're gonna do? Let me sit and you ride. A little boy. I got on.
You sat on it. You were determined.
I was determined, so I rode the bicycle. The slope of Otuchopi, then got up.
That is.
By the time I was at UCC, it was tough. But I could ride then. So by the time I reached Otuchopi there, then he said, okay, now you also sit. It took me. But by the time I reached school, it was people are now lining. By the time I reached the junction of Teso College, now to enter into the school, people were already lining. I ran quickly. I didn't have a calculator, and I was going to do a mathematics paper. I just rushed and did paper 1.
Just like that.
The mathematics paper.
Plainly.
No calculator. and I ended up finishing the paper, paper 1, without a calculator. I resettled. I got a calculator for the afternoon paper.
Tell me you failed.
I didn't fail. Okay, I didn't fail. Again, a series of challenges. Why I'm bringing these challenges so that somehow you see every time that I had a life journey to another transition to another. There was a challenge. So that one, senior 4, senior 6. Again, I went to a Muslim school, but for some reason again there was another challenge in Kibibi. So I said, what is happening? 2 weeks too, I was sent home. I was expelled. Again, the same human rights issues. I think I have.
What did you do now?
There wasn't a strike, but I think I was opposing something, and I said, this is not right. And you know, our people don't want you to oppose anything. People are not used to challenging systems. There's not this, nobody wants a discussion. So I think I talked about something. There was some, I said, no, this is not right. You cannot do this to students. No. So I told the teacher like that. And there was this.
That was enough.
That was enough to say, Pascal, go get out of school. And I called my parents, and somehow, for some reason, I was allowed to do the paper. So that was a challenge. At university, I think the last paper I was doing, Principles of Marketing. I think I reached 30 minutes late. Again, challenges somehow. Principles of Marketing at Macquarie University Business School. I reached like 30 minutes late. So I had like 2 hours and a half to do a paper. Was it quantitative method? I think it was QM.
3 hours.
3 hour paper.
For 3 hours.
But I arrived 2 hours and a half, and they said, what happened? So I explained myself.
You were allowed in.
Again, I was allowed.
Yes.
So every time, for me, my life journey, as like what you're saying, a period preceding, has been about hurdles every
time you want to transition, there is a hurdle.
There has been always a hurdle. Somehow maybe she has facilitated for me a training she has groomed me. So I have been through these lives, and if I could explain, there are so many stories. So some jobs I've got them.
Yes. Some
jobs I've got them by walking kilometers.
Foot.
Yeah, walking kilometers. I think my first bank job I walked from Tinda to Kampala, if I remember.
Was that to take application or going for
a job interview? So I walked to and fro. So they are so every time for me that I've had to transition to another level. Even the recent election, I think part of the nomination money was paid on the about this time, and the next day was the last day. So
you were among the last to clear your nomination.
Exactly, I was probably the last, but again, this was through struggle. Everything is, for me, my life has been through struggle. You struggle to get to another level. So every transition has been like that, and I think it's something that I want to find out why this kind of patterns happen.
Sure.
So when I look at that life journey, from birth to
where you are
to where I am now, it has been every so I'm used to that. Every time I go for a challenge, I must get a hurdle.
So after losing your father, who did you grow up with? Was your mother around?
Yes, up to now she's still alive. I of course, on and off, I grew up with my mother, but I was in boarding schools. Uncles would pay school fees for me, but you know, so as a child, sometimes you're this way for holidays, sometimes this way. So I can say I was groomed by the community. I was groomed by a lot of people. Facilitated my growing up.
Okay.
Yeah, because my mother was not able to take care of the school fees and that, so I had to go to different places.
So you're a banker by profession? You're an accountant, or I don't think banking is a profession, is it?
For some people, yes.
What is the profession in accounting? Accountant?
Okay, like in business, in the business school, there are different areas of specialization. One of them you just mentioned, accounting.
Yes.
There is marketing. There is finance. There is human resource management. Those are like critical functions of business management. There are those who do specific administration. So I want to say that I would cut across to talk about the broader business management function, because I have not specialized like in one specific one. So I have this generic, like how support do an MBA generic, you do an MBA, but it's a general.
It's a broader.
So you have different perspectives. So this is what I can answer for that.
Now, besides that, recently you dared in the by-elections, the Authority City East by-elections, and everyone was like, can he really manage? Why is he in the race? What inspired you?
I think for me, the inspiration that I have is based on the fact that I want to provide my people with services. I want to be able to make a contribution, to provide a semblance of good leadership. And so I'm so passionate about the common man, first of all. I'm so passionate about those individuals that need support, especially at strategic level, at policy level, at legislation level. So opportunities to be able to support them at that broader level. I know what needs to be done as a member of parliament. I know what contribution that I can make as a member of parliament. So my heart is so passionate about the common man, and every time that there are attempts to exploit the common man, it bothers my heart.
Right.
So for me, I draw the inspiration, like I told you, my background. I don't like oppressors. I never side with the oppressor. I always side with those who are oppressed. And so for me, my inspiration is to provide leadership and support for those that are being oppressed. And there are many areas of oppression that we experience. It could be an economic oppression, and so many other levels of it. So I want to provide that opportunity. So my inspiration, I can say, is drawn from the inner feeling. I'm not inspired by money, because if I was, I shouldn't have participated, because there were gestures for me to be talked out.
They were giving you some
gestures. Someone was who were dangling some few things, dangling some olive branches, so that I could partake of some olive oil.
But it wasn't you.
It is not my thing to sort of buy off. It's something that I believe so much in. Though from my background, I can say I have a political background from the family. My grandfather was Pascal Amuriat, was LC3 of Soroti Town Council then, before it became a municipality. I wasn't there in his time.
But you had? I
heard about it.
Yes.
It provided good leadership for those that know. But also, I've had my uncle, the party president for FDC, has been MP, and so I've been watching. I don't know whether that meant direct inspiration, but also from a time during those processes, university and so much on, there was a wind of change that was blowing across
within that time
within the country, and the likes of Dr. Kiza Besige, the likes of the Semo Gereres, and as a little child I would go for those public rallies. While I was in Madera Boys, when there were public rallies, I would follow. As a little boy, I would go and listen. And I think it's a combination of all. That's what I'm saying. The desire for me has been with him. So I would go for political rallies. For all elections from 1996, I have been in political rallies.
You've been following this after.
I've been following, and I would go and see what is happening. Even I would walk to Nakatunya, for example, for a rally.
For a rally?
I would move from Ajib to walk for a rally. And I would keep watching. And I think for me, I began to draw those inspirations, that someday I will also participate and provide this good leadership.
Yes.
And so for me, it has been
like inherited.
I don't want to say even beyond that. It's from inside me.
The DNA.
And I think maybe that now comes with the inheritance you're talking about.
Yes.
Because my late father was a councillor. Was an elected councillor in Soroti Town Council then.
Now that takes me back to your place of origin. You said your uncle is Patrick Amuriat.
Yes, exactly.
The FDC party president.
Exactly.
So take us way back to your origin.
Yeah, okay, origin, first of all,
where you come from?
Where I come from? My origin, my ancestral home is in Kumi. It's in Kumi, Kanyumu. Augile, a place called Augile. That's where my ancestral home, that's where my late father was buried. But I also have my mother coming from Gweri.
Just here.
So, but most of my life has been in Soroti because my father and myself were born here. It's only my grandfather who came here from the other side to come and do a few things. So there is the first air that I breathe comes from this land, and for me this is
all your life you've been here.
All my life I've been here, but in terms of origin, that could explain a little bit apart from birth and studying in Madera Boys Teso College, and so most of my associates and friends are really from within, those that I've grown up with here, and so.
When you joined UPC and your uncle is FDC, was there no issues? Didn't he call you and tell you, my son, I need you behind my back? Okay,
there are those challenges. I cannot say they were not there. There were those challenges. It wasn't an easy time though, because on my part also, I know what it meant. Though I also have what I look at from within me.
Yes.
It wasn't an easy process. I think for many people there was this
pulling of ropes
from within. So I said, oh God, what do I do? So I said, I'm just following what my heart and what God is asking me to do.
Yeah.
But I think for much of the time, after the debate on NBS,
yes,
the perspective changed, and people now began to understand that I'm not there just because for other reasons. I had an opportunity to express myself and to tell the world what I want to do for them in the economic arena and those other socio-economic, political issues that I stand for. And from that time, the dynamics have since changed. But so the perspective has since changed. Even from the family, the perspective has changed.
They support you?
Yeah, now I can say yes. The resistance has lowered. I cannot say 100%, but
they still support you.
But the resistance has lowered.
They still support you for who you are.
Exactly, because in any case, I am not here on my own. I belong to a family. I belong to a clan, and so.
But besides that, UPC actually is for the old people. That's what the youth would say. At your age, I know you're not still at that age of the Dr. Obotes, but you're strong with UPC. What could have made you
I think for me, again, it's about what UPC stands for resonates with what my values are. And you know, UPC is a socialist party, and the socialist party is really focusing on, it's a left-wing, extreme left-wing party, and I stand for those same values, the social values that UPC stands for. For example, when they declared the Common Man's Charter, the issues of equality, the issues of justice, the issues of access to everybody, where every citizen enjoys and accesses different opportunities. So I somehow understand the UPC ideology. And for me, I can tell you that deep down me, I believe that UPC has better alternatives in terms of providing governance and the governance issues for which they stand for. And I'll just give you one example without going into detail.
Yes.
That a period between 1969 and 71, it's the only time that Uganda had a surplus budget. We had more than we needed. And for me, that alone, without even considering any other things, that how come we were operating on a surplus? We didn't have debts like we do now as a country. Whatever developments there were, we financed them as a country, and they were paid from the taxpayers' coffers. And so no Ugandan was in debt. No country was in debt. We had reserves and some bit of cash. So a little bit extra. And for me, I think for me, it is the duty of everybody to ensure that you have extra money in your family, at even a personal level.
Yes.
So I say, okay, are these the right people to follow? And so I am not following Obote as an individual, because anyway, he's long gone.
He is long gone, yeah.
And there are some individuals also who are in the party who may not espouse some of the values, the ideologies. But for me, I am focusing on the ideological framework.
The parliamentary debate, that was live on NBS. The whole of Soroti was talking about this, and they say you were so much confident. How on earth did you build the confidence, and how were you prepared for this?
I think for me, this is not a question of one day. What you see on NBS that day, it's a question of preparation over a number of years. And so when you see someone, for example, interacting with you at this level, it's not because they have just woken up and it's like an angel has come and imparted knowledge, and they then begin to speak in a way which makes them brilliant. No, it is works of years. I have read books. I have been through different opportunities of engagement. I've been to the National Leadership Academy. I've been to different political, social, NGO platforms. And so, a period preceding that debate, without even talking about the election itself, I have been doing quite a lot of work around many different issues. But also, I have been doing quite a lot of engagements locally. Sure, what I not only experienced was such a hot tense-up debate where the stakes are high, the emotions are high. But for me, already I'd prepared myself over time. But also, even then, people said, did you prepare for this show? I didn't. I was just from a public rally. I think I'd just left at Chetigwen.
You were from a rally?
From a rally which ended at about 7.
Yes.
At 7 p.m. and there was some bit of stress issues which were there. It's not that they are absent, those stresses. The stress was there. Of course, after that, you have to manage a few things. I think we even arrived 10 minutes
to the
debate. And no, arrived like 15 minutes too. It is Herbert Ariko who arrived
earlier than you.
No,
later.
I found a Honorable Batan there.
Yes.
I arrived second, then Honorable Ariko arrived there. So I even came. Not everything was well. Like I was telling people on the show, that this campaign we ran it through struggle and sacrifice. So every step was struggle and sacrifice. So I shouldn't have had the best of moods. But again, I have just given you in my period preceding that in my life, every time that I've gone through a transition, it has been through stress and hardship. So I have been used to these challenges. And so I came to that debate not prepared as per se.
You were not prepared.
Because nobody was given the questions. I didn't know what they were going to ask. It's just that I began to compose myself and find ways, because find ways of how to put myself together. It's a game of preparation, it's a game of dedication, it's commitment, and there were challenges. Like I told you, even so many nights people are calling, even I think the night of the debate people are calling, the back of the race, we're giving you money. So again, amid these challenges, I can tell you, against all odds, I should have picked money.
Because there was too much money coming.
There was money, but also I didn't have the money. I needed money. So it was a test.
Yeah.
Either you pick the money,
or you take the battle.
Or you take them onto the battle, and for many people they say, pick the money.
Money, yes.
So I said, no. If I ever make this mistake, how about the people who have believed in some of us for so many years? Those people that even didn't vote, but those that believe and say, I think Pascal can offer us some leadership. I said, if I betrayed these people now, people are looking for leaders who are consistent, leaders who cannot easily betray them. And I said, for this reason alone, even if I have 10 voters, these that believe in me, for them, I will continue to pursue this path until we finish it. So for me, that's the inspiration that I had. Otherwise, under normal circumstances, if you are not tough-hearted,
you couldn't manage it.
You couldn't manage it. On a tough race. I was the least resourced.
Yes.
I was not financed.
We talked about it.
I wasn't financed, and so my party leadership also didn't appear. I was alone with the local team, and like I said, I think it's something that I'm used to. Every time that I have to get to another level, there's a resistance all the time.
Exactly. Now, are we looking at you coming back at 2026? Is there a possibility that we will see you in the ballots?
There is a possibility. I cannot say there is no possibility. There is a possibility. Ceteris paribus. When one of them is life, that there must be life.
Yes.
And you must be healthy.
Exactly.
So those are like constant. If they are constant, then you can be available. But also there are certain little things that we are doing an evaluation to fix the things that we needed to have fixed then, and we are trying to fix them. It's a work in progress. And so 2026 is still a bit far. It would be early to say that I'll be available, I'll be this, but
any other person would wish for that, would wish to hear that.
And I think the voters are also waiting for who will come on the race.
Yes.
And since I have provided myself and seemingly provided some bit of knowledge, I've provided some bit of knowledge and given people a direction with which I feel the Sorority City East people should take. And some of them are saying, Pascal, you may continue, please continue. So again, it's about the people. But if for some reason people believe that don't come, I will respect their wish. Opportunities for availability are still open.
Okay. I want you to look at that camera, and as Pascal, as a political personnel, I want you to give an inspirational message to the youth, the young people who could have gone through the same problems as you have done, to your children who will tomorrow watch this and get some inspiration from you as their father or as their grandfather.
And I think for me, what I can just basically say is that if you believe in something, you need to pursue it to its logical conclusion. Do not, for whatever reason, leave what you have started. And for me, this is the first step that you need, irrespective of the circumstances, irrespective of the challenges, once you decide to go for a matter, make sure you complete it. And that's the first step, because there were challenges. Of course, you're never going to be as ready as you like, because first of all, you may not be well resourced as a young person. You may not have the resources, you may not have the networks, you may come as the least person to the rest, or whatever political engagement that you come into, but that should not discourage you for any reason. And so you need to be consistent, you need to be committed, you need to finish the race. I think for me the point is finish the race, do your best, give it your very best, prepare best, and I'm sure opportunities will unveil themselves to be able to enable you fulfill your values and the things for which you want people to follow you for. And so because these things are deep down, if they are inside of you, you want them to be birthed. And so we want to birth, to provide to birth leaders of a new generation, honest leaders, leaders of integrity, leaders that are after the heart of the people, and leaders that are after there to provide a transformation, a change. And if you believe that you are that kind of individual, nothing should stop you, because it is possible. I haven't yet been voted as member of parliament or whatever, but I have had so many other platforms that I am receiving day by day. One of the platforms, Julie, has invited me here to be able to share my story and to share my challenges, to share the successes. And this in itself is a great opportunity. If I had not participated, then probably I would not be here discussing this with you. So there are many yourself that I can be able to do this. So it can be that challenging that even people from within may say, no, you can't manage this, you may not be able, you're not good enough. But we must fulfill those vacuums, because sooner or later the members of parliament who are there now will be out, and we should be able to fill those gaps. I can assure you, by the mercy of God, I'll provide leadership in this city. Whatever level that the people choose, I will provide that leadership, because they have seen that I have some bit of capacity to be able to do that. That's what I can just say. Thank you. But above all, as I conclude, you need to put God first.
Yeah.
Because without God, you will not be able to do anything. Irrespective of how talented, how well-resourced you are, you will not be able to. God is like supreme, and so you have to put him ahead of everything that you do, and he will do something good for you. That's what I can just say. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing your interesting story. I know your story will actually change the life of a young man who is out there, the life of someone who is aspiring to be a leader. And you heard it all from Honorable Pascal Amuriat. He has spoken his life journey. He has shared with you his success and challenges in life. And I know he's meant to achieve more in life, not just here. He's actually looking ahead, and that is the reason as to why we are here, to inspire you, motivate you, and show you the right path to follow as you're growing up as a youth, as a grown-up person who has lost hope. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for subscribing. In case you've already subscribed, thank you. But in case you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe and click on a notification button. My name is Juliet, and it's been a one-on-one with Honorable Pascal Amuriat, the former parliamentary candidate of Soroti City East. He was here to share his life story. Thank you once again for joining me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm excited about this. Thank you for these opportunities.
I know.
I appreciate. I'm deeply honored.